I need to provide a piece of information here relative to setting up the standard early on, like at K1. This is going to be a continuum. That's our kindergarten piece, and this is our first grade piece, and this would be our second grade piece. So we're going to talk about setting this standard up early. So write it at the very top of page C13, and then that way we all have it in the same place. Now we did a little bit with this earlier with the upper grade continuum, where we did a third grade and the stories and the easy books and the medium books and the harder selections. Now let's get the first grade set up in reference to the progression of a child who is moving on standard through this time period right up here. What would be a normal progression? And then we can see when they're getting off a little bit, and then we know that we need to intervene to get them on standard very quickly so we can fix the issue before it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and more of a gap in their instruction. Let me do 9 weeks, and this is like a traditional year with Christmas time, and then we can superimpose the 12-week time on there or the year round. So this is 0 weeks. This would be 9-week period, 18 weeks, 27th week of school, and your 36th week of school. And then we'll superimpose onto that 12 weeks and 24 weeks here, so that you can figure out where that might be for you. Now what I want to give you will be the minimum standard for first grade. And that's important to understand. If a child is not 0.5 by the 3rd week of school, then we would consider them off minimum standard. But if they're not 0.5 by the minimum of a 3rd week of school, then we need to start doing some things in our instruction that gives them some extra experiences, because print awareness is not established strong enough for them to start reading. 0.5 is depicted with a little inset, meaning that's where the child has enough print awareness to start reading published books. So that's a very crucial time right there. If you've worked with young children, you know that there's a window of time that learning is going to be accepted more readily. If it's too late, it's not as good. If it's too early, it's not as good. It has to be just right. And so if they reach 0.5 in kindergarten by the last few months of kindergarten, that is their window. That's when the interest is peaked. And you need to start your little developmental groups at that time for the purpose of reading instruction. That's where they're ready to accept and transfer the strategies. And when we're talking about that, what we mean is that's where they're able to listen to you say, well, what does it start with? Well, what does it end with? Let's look at the picture. Well, what would fit there? That's where you're asking those strategy type questions. Some of those children will go into first grade at stage 2. Some of them might go into first grade at stage 1. That's okay, because see, the first grade teacher knows where they're coming in and can just set up her developmental groups and go on. So there's not this big break between kindergarten and first grade. So that's what we like to see. So if they are above that, and if they happen to be at early stage 0, what does that tell you, first grade teachers? If they come to you, there is absolutely no way that the children can move from early stage 0 to 0.5 in 3 weeks. It's not going to happen. So if they come to you at early stage 0 level, the chances of them being on standard by the end of first grade have been lessened. So the kindergarten teacher has to work very hard because, as you know, if you're a kindergarten teacher or anyone that works with young children, remember that 1,000 hours? You've marked that on your green folder. They're not going to come to the kindergarten teacher, some of them, and already be stage 0. That would be the nice place that they would be. They're going to be E0. So the teacher at the kindergarten level is going to have to do a lot of print immersion, double reading to them, triple reading to them, getting the parent read, getting a buddy reader, getting a volunteer, doing a lot of vocabulary development, opening up your big books perhaps, and some of these ideas are given in the handbook on C7, but opening up these big books and talking about the pictures and saying, touch something in the picture. Tell me about that.
Pot.
It is a pot. And tell me about this.
It's full of flowers.
It's full of flowers.
There's 2 pots.
I see 2. I see more than 2. Can you find more than 2 and count them for me?
1, 2, 3.
All right. And how would you describe these?
They're blue.
They are. And what about this?
They're tall.
Very, very tall flowers. Those might be called bluebells. Then I would go to another student and they perhaps would pick something and talk about it. A lot of language development can go on with your big pictures that doesn't even have anything to do with Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? You're just double using your big books. So experiences such as that, and also just talking with the children, that back and forth verbalization where you're actively carrying on an interactive conversation, activating the brain, and unless the brain interacts, it's limited with the amount of processing going on. So minimum here, just to let the kindergarten teachers know that if they're not S0 by mid-kindergarten, wherever that might be after 18 weeks of instruction, we would consider them off minimum standard. The incoming E0 then, it's going to be tough to get all of that done. That's why we highly recommend that you have a parent outreach program. And if you've got some children in kindergarten or first grade that have brothers and sisters at home, that you make available to them some kind of parent training or access to parent tapes that show them what to do in the home. A lot of these people are well-educated people that lead very, very busy lives, and they've just forgot how important the read-aloud experiences are, and this will kind of remind them, oh yes, don't forget what all that's happening with a child that you're talking to, that you're letting them see you write, you're providing writing instruments, and also then you are reading aloud to them. It's going to be very good experiences that build in print awareness. By the 9th week, the student needs to be at stage 2, and they read easy, medium, and hard books for 9 weeks to stabilize the strategies, and then they're ready to move to stage 3 books by the middle of the year or the 18th week. They practice easy, medium, and hard stage 3 books, and by the 27th week they're ready to move into stage 4 books and practice easy, medium, and hard stage 4 to stabilize the strategies. That's a timeline that is rather universal as far as how the learning how to read year progresses for the minimum standard. So we could say by the 12th week they would need to be at stage 2.5, and by the 24th week they would need to be at stage 3.5. So you're setting up your benchmarks as to what that represents. And just like Daddy represents something around the 3-point level, that's where they should be no later than the 18th week. Now this is so they can actually read the stories out of the basal series that you have or out of your core lit books that you actually have. That would make them meet the timeline of being at stage 5. Easy, medium would be around the middle of the year, in that space of 12 weeks in the middle, and then harder stage 5 books in 2nd grade, and that would be on standard. Let's do an example then. Let's say that this is 3.5. This child is a 1st grader, and let's say that they are the 20th week of instruction. That's good?
Great.
So I could say to the parent, this would be inside my portfolio, I listened to your child read, and they're just a little bit ahead of the minimum standard or the standard that we would say of the normal progression of learning how to read in the 1st grade. And when I listened to them read, I noticed that if they altered the text, I did what I called a strategy analysis for meaning, syntax, and graphophonics. And I noticed that most of the time they use the graphophonics. Most of the time they use word order to help them to figure out the print. And most of the time they're getting the meaning from the text. And I can tell that from the way they changed the text or in the way they self-corrected. Now, for me to be able to tell the parent that's good news or that's bad news, because as a parent, you want everything to be circled, right? Yes. So, a reference page for this to see if they're on developmentally the right track can be found on C4 and C5. Now, find where it says stage 3 at the bottom of C4. Look at those circles there. What should the child be able to do at this time? What does it say in the middle of the 3 circles? Use. We should see evidence that the child is using the strategies. Do we see evidence in the example that I gave you that they're using the meaning strategies, that they're using the syntactic strategies most of the time, that they're using the graphophonic strategies most of the time? Yes, we have evidence that they're starting to use all the strategy areas in a consistent manner. So, when we do an oral reading record, we want to do more than just get some kind of a calculation. We need to analyze it in relationship to, are the strategies developing in all of the 3 cylinders? Do you see how much you have to take your data and do your analysis? Okay? Just doing an oral reading record is not adequate. You need to understand what the data means. Now let's go back to the reading profile. Let's say that this is a 1st grade teacher's classroom. In reference to the minimum standard, what does that mean? Is she a happy teacher? Is she a sad teacher? Is she a medium teacher? She's a sad teacher. She's got a big challenge here, right? Because the children in the E0 area are only going to be able to do for guided process reading, and that's what we are, guided process reading, learning how to read. We're not measuring at this point what they do in shared reading. We're not measuring at this point what they do in read aloud. We're measuring what they do when they look at the print and how much they can do. So these children can dictate single sentences. This is a giraffe. Could I write that for you? Okay, could you read that back to me? Let me help you. And I might have to take their hand and go, this is a giraffe. Now you do it. Remember, we gave you a reference page as to the way that you can increase the difficulty of the dictation experience by using the continuum on B7. And so what I'm trying to do here is just pull some of this together so that every time we introduce something, it relates to the other things we've done. Because it's not good enough to just say, okay, I'm going to write this child's name down here and I'm going to say they got a 7. Now I need to know where to go and what to do with that score of 7. So that's where this tells you what to do. And this tells you that the dictation can become more and more complex. With this child, again, we're going to do the B7 reference page, but this child has enough capacity and can remember the print well enough that they can do 3-page teacher-made books. So we're going to increase the level of the dictation experience to include 3 pages, and the expectation is that they remember those 3 pages the next day or day after day after day, and they like to return and reread those during silent sustain. The little teacher-made books then will progress all the way from very short sentences like bears are black, bears are big, all the way to expanded sentences, to non-pattern sentences, to dictating around a topic sentence. And all of that progression is given to you on B7. What we're going to do now is to show you the strategy emphasis as it relates to the reading stage. This will provide for you the complete developmental learning how to read process as it relates to the elementary school, and a little bit before that, because early stage 0 and stage 0 definitely relates to the kindergarten and the first grade teacher. So our objective here is to understand how the reading process develops during the elementary school years, so that you have the continuum, and when you have a child who hasn't learned how to read, then you can go back and decide what to do because you understand how the reading process develops during these crucial years. So on C4, direct your attention to the 3 circles. In the middle it says students develop print awareness. Now if they come to school and they're not print aware, then we have to go back and put that in place before they can move to the next level of development. So what we're doing is we're blending several different pieces together on these 2 pages. Some of it's related to the assessment and where we got the information in the first place as to where they are, and then what we should be doing with them and what we should be emphasizing, and then the additional piece is what type of lesson plan should we be using at this particular level. So you can see at least 4 things right there that we're going to be putting together today. And interspersed in here, what we're going to do is we're going to show you some video footage that gives you a sense of what it would look like at different levels during the guided process reading piece in your classroom. So let's start. You see right here it says print immersion stage, and that on our reading stage assessment, or the RSA as we're referring to it, would be the early stage 0 level. And on the RSA, they would place between 0 and 10. What we're going to be doing with these children would be taking dictation with a single sentence. So let's show you a video clip of what some of those single sentences might look like. Photographs are a way to relive experiences. Each time the photographs are experienced, the child has an opportunity to recall stored information. Print may be added to the photographs.
That's Rachel. What is she doing?
She's riding on the zebra.
She riding on the zebra? Are you riding the merry-go-round?
Mm-hmm.
You are. What do you want to say about this? You're riding on the zebra?
On the zebra.
Okay, let's put that down. Rachel on the zebra. On zebra.
Let me see that.
You want to see?
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh. Yeah.
We'll put the words down by the picture.
Who's this?
What's next?
Who's that?
Is that Isaac?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Are you in the stroller?
Mm-hmm.
You sure are. You're riding in the stroller. Where are you at?
At at the zoo.
That's right, you're at the zoo. So these are all pictures of you at the zoo. And you're riding in the stroller. You want to see it?
Yeah.
You see it. And I write down Rachel at the zoo? Okay. Let's write that down. Rachel at the zoo. Okay. Now
I
you-
see a hobble.
As a hippo.
Yeah.
He lives at the zoo, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You ready to put him inside the album? Okay, let's do it.
The next level of development would be print awareness. On the RSA, the student would score somewhere between 11 and 14, and it's at this time that we can add what we call teacher-made books. They are capable now of retaining and processing 3 pages of information, usually in a pattern that is consistent from page to page. We begin very simply by just changing the last word. We don't necessarily limit the word structure or the number of syllables in a word. The brain can take that in because they are dictating it, so they will know which word that they would want. I suggest you begin with the cover. If you're doing clouds, for example, you would start with the word clouds, and that helps the child. You will see some pattern books in the B section because these are connected to the shared books. And the page again indicates the book that you might put with this pattern. If you do not want to do pattern books yourself or cut them out, you can use a straight line around this, or if you would just simply say, here's the way you draw a bear, and let them use circles with circle ears on the top, or something where they're cutting it out, they're doing the work, then I would suggest that you have them do that. The page that you want to refer to as you're making these little teacher-made books would be B7. That tells you just how complex that you need to be with that child. B7 can also be used as an assessment page, and you can highlight those indicators once they have stabilized to indicate that now then we can move on to the next level. So it's through these dictated books that the child starts to get a sense of what books are. So the first books that a child has at stage 0 would be the dictated books. Cows. All right, let's write that. Farmers. Can you say the word with me? Farmers, milk, cows. They do, don't they? All right. Could you read that for me? Let's take your finger and let's touch under the words. Farmers, milk, cows. Can you do that for me? Farmers,
milk, cow.
What else can farmers do, Jeremy?
They
The teacher asks the student what he would like to say, then writes the sentence word for word as the student repeats the sentence. The child rereads the sentence and touches once under each word.
They give food to the pigs.
They give food to the pigs. Okay, farmers. This is farmers. Give food. Can you help me? Food to
Pigs.
to pigs. Good for you. All right, now let's read this. Here we go. Farmers give food to pigs. And we'll make our own book. You like to read books, don't you? Do you know how to write some words?
Yeah.
You do. What word do you know how to write?
Dad, Mom, Isaac.
You do, don't you? At first, sentences are kept simple by using a few words and the same beginning pattern on each page.
Isaac.
Okay, that's what Isaac starts with, isn't it? And that's the letter
Isaac.
I, isn't it? Okay, now, we're going to use that letter. That's the letter that starts with your name. We're going to use it in a different way. And here's the word right here. I don't know if you know that word, but you know this word, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Watch me. What is that word? What is that word?
Mommy.
That's mom. You want me to write mommy or mom?
Mommy.
Mommy. Okay, I'm going to write mom, me. Okay, now then, I want you to touch under these words with your finger, and I want you to read those words for me.
I love Mommy.
That was very good. Who else do you love?
Daddy.
I love Daddy. Okay, Nana's going to write. Are you ready? Here we go.
Like this.
I love, what should I start with?
Daddy.
I, Daddy? Could we put the love word in? Okay, here we go. What does love start with? Love. What did it start with?
L.
It did.
O-V-E.
You already are thinking about the spelling. I love Dad. You want to write Dad or Daddy?
Daddy.
Okay, what do I start with?
D-A-D.
Okay, all right, that says Dad. Now I'm going to change it into Daddy. Daddy. Perfect. Now read that back for Nana and touch under the words.
I love Daddy.
Can you, this is just one word, so can we have just one touch there? Just 3 touches. Do that for me.
I love Daddy.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it like this. I love Daddy, so that when my mouth says Daddy, my finger's underneath the word. You try that.
I love Daddy.
Perfect. Can you think of one other person that you love? Circle the word love. So every time we touch under that word, what are we going to say? The child will become more and more precise at touching once under each word, including compound words and contractions.
I love Mommy.
So we're going to circle love. Good job. Let's see if there's a love on this page.
I love Daddy.
After these print awareness skills are in place, the parent may ask the child to circle the same word on each page, how a word begins or ends, and how do they think you spell a particular word. Print awareness, now we're ready to go to the next level of development. At this level, we're still in stage 0, but it's called point 5, and our RSA assessment indicates that they are scoring 15 or higher, meaning that they have established the print awareness level, and now they're ready to move on to published books. At this level, they are ready to be introduced to the cueing system. And as you will recall, the cueing questions that we ask to develop those strategies are on C8 for English and C9 for Spanish. These children are now placed in developmental groups. At the end of the year, this sheet is copied and sent to first grade teachers. C16 and 17. This begins the formal reading instruction. At this level, you can use several different videos to give examples. You will see this represented on the videos A, B, and C. This tape is a demonstration of a guided process reading group. It is a supplemental video that will consider students at a particular stage of development. The reference pages used in this guided process reading session are included in your Accelerating Literacy Training Manual. This lesson will include 3 steps: a familiar book, a new book, and guided writing. The lesson was planned on the appropriate format using these books. The purpose of the guided process reading and guided process writing lesson is to advance students' levels of development. For sound purposes, this instructional lesson was taped outside the regular classroom. He can juggle, can he? Find the word juggle. How do you know that's juggle? How did you know that's juggle? All right, that's good thinking. Now let's read the whole title. Can you point in the middle of the word? And let's read it together. Here we go. Point to the words. Huggles. Can. Point to can. Juggle. Very nice. Turn to the title page. And I'd like for you to read this to yourself. Let's whisper read it. Here we go. Huggles. Good pointing. Okay, let's remember and let's see what Huggles could juggle. Why don't we start off by partner reading today, okay? So I want you to read to him, and then he's going to read this page to you, all right? And you're just going to read the book back and forth like that. Okay, who wants to be the first reader right here? You want to read first? Okay, start right here. Read this to her. You watch as she reads, okay? Read that for her. What did he juggle? And orange. Very good. All right, now you read to him. What else did he juggle? You read to her. And
Apple.
good reading. Now turn the page and let your partner read now. Who's going to be the first reader again? It's your turn, isn't it? All right. Can you point as he reads? What did he juggle now? And what about you?
And umbrella.
All right. Very good reading. Who's going to read next? Let's let you read next, all right? You're going to be her partner. You point to the words as she reads, okay? Here we go. Whose turn is it over here? Go ahead. And, all right. You're already to this page. Let's all read this page together. What is he juggling now? Here we go. As everyone's pointing. And,
Egg.
good reading. Egg. Could this be apple there?
No.
How do you know? You looked at the picture. That's a good way to know, isn't it? All right, let's read the next page. Let's read this page. Here we go. Everyone pointing. And
Ice cream.
very good. And ice cream. All right. Read the last page. And accident. And he did have an accident, didn't he? All right. Look through the book and find your favorite page, the one you like a lot. What's your favorite page? What was he juggling that you liked? You like this page? All right, read that for me.
And umbrella.
All right, and can you just touch once in the middle of the word and do that for me again?
And umbrella.
Very nice. Good job. Good reading. What's your favorite page? Could you read a different one? Could you read this one for me? Okay, can you read that for me? What did he juggle here? He did, didn't he? All right, can you point to the words as you read? And
Elephant.
good reading. Good reading. You were pointing to the word elephant. You can read for me, okay? All right. And can you point with one finger right here? Can you do this? Let's use this finger right here. And ice cream. Now you do it for me. Look at your words. And ice cream. Is that a very good idea? To juggle an ice cream cone? No. What's going to happen? What happened when he tried to do that? He had an accident, didn't he? Okay. Read your favorite page.
And egg.
All right, point to the word egg for me. How many words do you see on this page? There's egg. What is this? And. All right, how many words do you see?
5.
You see 5 words? Okay, all right. Let's look at this book right here. And I want us just to look at the pictures to start with. This is a new book. Take a look at this picture. What do you see?
The Grinch.
You see who? Who do you see here in the picture? Tell me who you see.
Boy.
You see a boy and who else? A woman or a girl. Who could that be? A mom? Could be a mom, couldn't it? She's got her purse and everything. And what's behind her? Some shops. All right, let's look and see if we can figure out what's going on here. Oh, what kind of a shop do you think they're in now?
Grocery shop.
Could be grocery shop. Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
You do? You go shopping? All right, let's see what they're doing. Let's see if we're right. Oh, they're going to different parts of the different sections of the store, aren't they? Picking out different things. And what are they doing with the things that they're picking out?
Toothpaste.
What are they doing with those things? I see that. They're putting them in the cart. All right. Do you buy some of these things sometime?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Has that ever happened to you?
No.
I hope not. It could happen, though, but I hope it hasn't happened to you. All right, here's what we're going to do. Good. Let's point to the title. We need to figure out what this book is going to be all about. Can you point to the word up there? Now, there's one word there. Do you see how all the letters are together? Do you see how all the letters are together? So we're going to point right in the middle of the word because it's just one. Can you put your finger right in the middle? Okay. How does this start? Do you know that SH sound?
Shop.
Shop. Shopping. All right, shopping. They're going shopping. Let's open up the book. All right, and we have the title again on the title page. Can you read that for me? Can you whisper read that? What does that say?
Shopping.
That's the word shopping. That's what it says, shopping. All right, turn to the next page. Now let's see what we're going to shop for. How do you know that might be bread?
Because it has a D.
All right, that's a good way. And how did you know that it might be bread? You looked at the picture? That's a good way to know. So we know two ways to figure out these words. Do you see this big word right up at the top? What do you think that says?
Bread.
Bread. Bread starts with BR, bread. It ends with what letter?
D.
D. Okay, now look at the bottom of the page and point to the words because we're going to read these words down here. Everyone point. Here we go. Does anyone know that word? They're shopping for what?
Bread.
The.
Bread.
You could say the if you wanted to. Let's say we could say the or the. Okay? The.
Bread.
Now let's see what they're going to shop for next. Let's put our finger underneath these words. What do we think this might be? Are we going to put shopping here? Why not? Why can't we put shopping down there? Does anyone know why we can't say shopping down there? You don't know? Okay, let's look at the word. Do you think it says shop? What do you think it says?
The ice cream.
Could it be the ice cream? Does that fit? What do the rest of you think? You think that's going to work? Let's all try it together and let's see if it's going to work. Here we go. The, whoops, so you have to point. The ice cream. Very good. Okay, I think that's right. Let's turn the page. Now, what did you say was on this page? What are they shopping for now? The.
Toothpaste.
All right, good for you. And could you just point once in the middle of the word and say toothpaste?
Toothpaste.
All right, now let's read the word right in front of it, and we point underneath it too. We say the.
Toothpaste.
Perfect, the toothpaste. Now what are we going to shop for? Yes, good thinking. You read that very well. The peas. Turn the page. All right, let's see what you can do on this one. Read it to yourself. Let's read it to yourself. Can you whisper read it? All right, read the next page. Whisper read the next page. Good reading. Let me hear you read this. All right, good job. Turn the page. And how does this shopping trip end? What does this say? All right. right, good thinking. That's exactly what we have. Can you read this for me? Point to the word. Mm-hmm. Can you read it for me? All right, find your favorite page. Which page did you like? What would you shop for? All right, read your favorite page to me. Okay, and touch once under every word. Here we go. Very good. All right, which page are you going to read for me? Okay, go ahead. Good job. Read for me.
The apples.
All right. And what about you?
Mess.
Oh, good thinking. Now let's just pretend that you are going to go shopping tonight. What would you want to get? Which department would you want to go into, or which line of shelves would you go into, and you would buy something? What would you do? Could you go what would you buy? You would buy
Bread.
You would buy bread? Okay. Why don't we let you write for me, the bread. Would you do that? Start right up here and write the. We're just going to put the letters that we know, okay? We're not going to worry about it. What would you like to buy at the store? You would buy the ice cream. All right, let's start right up here and write the ice cream. What would you like to buy? You could buy something different than they bought if you wanted to. Have you thought of an idea what you would like to buy? Would you like to buy something different, like cookies or cake? Oh, you would like popsicles. All right, could you write the popsicles? Start right up here and write the. What would you buy? Something good to eat? The cake. All right, that sounds like a great idea. Here we go. You must write the. All right. The popsicle. What's popsicle? Let's skip over a little bit so we'll have a new word. This is one word. Now we're going to write popsicle. Here we go. What does that begin with? Good thinking. And you're going to buy ice cream? All right, let's skip over for our new word, ice. And then we're going to write cream. Okay? You're going to write 3 words. Ice cream, ice. What do you hear in ice?
S.
All right, write that for me. Pop. Popsicle. The popsicle. The cake. Good writing. The cake. The bread. Bread. What do you hear in bread? B-R. Okay, let's write BR. Then maybe you can hear the ending sound. Bread. Can you hear something at the end? Bread. Say it for me. Say what you're writing. Bread. Did you hear anything at the end? Bread. Okay. What else would you like to buy at the store besides bread? You would like to buy let's write the and see if we can think of one more thing that you could buy at the store. The ice cream. Ice cream. Just cream beginning. Can you think about that? Cream. Do you hear something in that word? Do you hear one sound? All right. Would you write that right here for me? How are you doing on popsicle? Popsicle. Good thinking. Okay, let's think of one more thing that you can buy at the store. Let's write the again, and you're going to think of one more thing you could buy. Think of something interesting. Read what you have. The, can you point to the words? The ice cream. Okay, let's write the again, and then we're going to think of one more thing. What did you think of to buy at the store? The beans. Okay, let's write that. And you're writing cake. Okay, that looks good. That looks very good. Okay, what else could you buy at the store? Let's write the again and think of one more thing that you could buy. You want something to go with your cake? What what do you want to go with your cake? Ice cream. You want ice cream? Good choice. All right, here we go. What's going to go with your ice cream? What would you like to buy at the store? Think about the store and all the things in it. What else could you buy? One more thing.
I know what I'm gonna
What are you going to buy?
ice cream.
You're going to buy ice cream too? Everyone wants to buy ice cream. The ice cream. Okay, let's start right here. For the new word, ice. You thought about it? Would you like milk? Okay, good idea. Here we go. Milk. Milk. What does milk begin with?
B.
All right, would you write that for me? Read what you have. Let's start up here.
Analysis of Group A. The trainer coach demonstrated Format 1 with a group of 4 kindergarten students. Observations included a familiar book, a new book, and a writing connection. Teachers were asked to highlight the lesson components they observed and to script the questions the trainer coach asked. At the end, questions were transferred to the cueing prompt card. The following is a summary of the teacher's observations. 3 different semantic questions were considered by the students. The trainer coach asked 2, and a student suggested 1. 2 syntactic questions and 5 graphophonic questions were asked. Students were asked to consider 5 cross-checking questions and 2 conscious awareness questions. In many instances, questions were paraphrased. The trainer coach made the following statements about the students. Students 1 and 2 exhibited the highest level of print awareness and appear to be ready to process published books. Students 3 and 4 need to stabilize the teacher-made book descriptors in columns 2 and 3 before they begin published books. When students are appropriately staged, transfer improves and it becomes less necessary to repeat cueing question prompts. Students' writing examples were consistent with the guided reading findings. Students 1 and 2 showed more phoneme awareness and letter sound relationship knowledge than students 3 and 4. Expectations and teaching points will increase as students become familiar with the lesson procedure. Let's review C16 and 17 lesson plan. The focus is in the gray box. Those are your strategy questions. The way you develop the strategies is to ask questions because the brain is more active when you ask a question rather than telling it. So you don't tell, you ask. There are 3 steps in this lesson plan and you always need to use the 3 steps. It is for stages 0 through 2. The first step is to read the book that was the new book yesterday. So you reread the book here. It's called the familiar book now. Then you move to the new book, and you noticed on the video that the children were doing various things. They were choral reading, they were reading to a partner, they were whisper reading. And you start the new book by doing a group picture survey. Let me use this book to demonstrate a picture survey. You would hold the book yourself and you would go through it and say, what is going on here? What do you think's happening? They would simply say, they're seeing lots of animals. They get really excited about this book. That's all you want to do. You don't want to talk about what is this so that they're not going ahead and saying this is a monkey or this is a tiger. So avoid a discussion that would lead them to say these different animals because you want them to process those words rather than you giving them those words up front. When you go back to the front of the book, since this is a question that leads into the book, you have to go ahead and use the title. This is an example of a stage 0 book, maybe about a medium or so. You ask them if anyone knows a word. Some of them might know can, some might know see. you would go from there and you say, look at this, they're asking a question. See the question mark there? They're asking you something. We know that this is can and we know that this is C. You may have to go back up here and actually give them the WH. You may have to say, the question is, let's see if we can figure out what the question is. This is, and someone in the group will usually get that. They might say, who can you see? Then you would have to go back and say, all right, let's think about this word right here. What do we see at the end? And that's the way you're working in your graphophonics. The main point here is avoid, when you're doing your picture survey, of actually giving them the words that they're going to have to process. That makes it stronger. You suggest to them, look at the first letters. Well, does anyone know what sound those letters represents? And you're helping them to just figure out the print and how the system works. And in this way, they develop strategies for figuring out the words. The last piece of the lesson plan that you saw on the video was the students' writing. So a connection is made here between the book pattern and the students' writing. And you always do the writing with stages 0, 1, and 2. Whatever the pattern is, you would encourage them to think of something different that Huggles could juggle, or something different that they could see in a jungle. I can see a. That would be your connected writing piece. Spelling starts here. You would expect standard spelling would be the high frequency words. If they're writing I am major jumps, then you would expect I and am to be spelled correctly, and you would still permit the phonemic or the invented or approximated spelling on the words that are not high frequency. So spelling starts when the reading starts. And this read-write connection here, reading, trying to figure out the words, going from here and trying to figure them out with the strategies, and then the writing going from here to reproducing. And that reciprocal process makes this very, very strong. It takes about 16 to 20 minutes to do this lesson plan. This tape is a demonstration of a guided process reading group. It is a supplemental video that will consider students at a particular stage of development. The reference pages used in this guided process reading session are included in your Accelerating Literacy Training Manual. This lesson will include 3 steps: a familiar book, a new book, and guided writing. The lesson was planned on the appropriate format using these books. Do you remember the title? Let's read it together. Point to the title. Huggles can juggle. And what does juggle mean? What does juggle mean?
Doing this
Yes, throwing it up in the air, isn't it?
and catching it back in my hand.
That's true. Okay, let's open the book up to the page inside. Everyone, quickly open it up. Read this to yourself. Whisper read. Huggles can juggle. Did everyone read it? Okay. Now let's see what Huggles can juggle. Remember? What can he juggle? What was the first thing he was juggling?
He can juggle an orange.
All right, let's point to the first word here.
Can.
And how many words do you see? All right. Stop right there when we get right here to this page. If this said, do you see the word he can juggle an orange? He, do you see the word he? Could this be he? No. Why couldn't that be he?
A-N.
That's right. Good thinking. All right. So first he's juggling an orange. Now what's he juggling?
An apple. And I need everyone to point to the words, don't I? All right. All right, now we're going to partner read. You read to her, and she can read to you. You take turns. You two be partners. Who's going to read first? You read first? Okay, read this to her, and then you turn the page and read to her. Who's going to read first over here? Okay, you read first then. Read right over here. Good, now it's your turn to read. And then turn the page and take turns. Yeah, you need to stay on the same page where you can point. Could you read that again so that she could read with you? And point. Good job. Point in the middle of the word. Whose turn?
Mistake.
It could be a mistake, because it is, isn't it? It's a mistake to drop eggs on the floor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could this be mistake? Mistake? What's another word instead of just mistake? When you have ice cream on your head and you really don't mean for this to happen, or when you drop the egg, what does that mean? That you had a what? A mistake or an... Okay, look at the word. Look at the word. Which do you think it is? A mistake or an accident? Point to the word for me.
An accident.
Can you start over here for me?
An accident.
Why couldn't that be mistake? That would fit there.
Mistake.
Look at the word. Why couldn't it be mistake? Look at the word. Could mistake work fit there?
Mistake starts on M.
Good thinking. All right. Good reading. Thank you very much. Now we're going to get a new book. Are you ready? Let's take a look at this new book here. Can we all look at this together? You might have to really look closely. Can you see my book? All right. Here we go. Let's look at him. He's got a uniform on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that means he must have something to do with maybe being he could be a Marine.
An army man.
He could be. He's got a uniform on. And look at all of these things around him. I wonder if they belong to him. What do you think? A soldier? Look at him. Do you think the horse belongs to him?
Yeah.
He has a special name. What is he just about to make the horse do there?
Jump.
Jump, isn't he? He has a special name. Uh-oh. He says to himself, he's telling you who he is, and then he's going to introduce you to what belongs to him. So I guess these things belong to him, don't they? But look what he did right here. You think so? Okay. Look at this. Look how wide their mouths are open. Now what are they doing? Can we tell what they're doing? We'll have to find that out, won't we? All right, point to the title of the book. And let's figure out what this name, what his name might be. What the name of the book is, too. All right, under the word. Point under the word, all right? Here we go. What does it start with? Major. Do you see this? Can you read it for me? Major jump. Now, wonder why he's called Major Jump. There's a reason he has that name. Let's turn on the inside. Read the title to yourself.
Major jump.
When you read to yourself, you can whisper read, can't you? All right, he's telling you who he is. Read the first page to yourself. Whisper read like this. What did he say he was? That's what he said. Now read the next page to yourself. Let's whisper read this. Read this to yourself. Has to match. am Major Jump. Is there enough words there? What about this word? Did we get that word figured out? Let's stay on this page right here. Is there a problem on that page somewhere? Is there a hard part for you?
Horse.
Where's the word horse? Point to the word horse. How did you know that was horse? Good thinking. It starts with an H. So whose horse is this? Let's all read it together. Here we go. I am Major Jump's horse. All right, turn the page. Read what this page says. And let's have you read it to partners. Who's going to read first? You decide. Here's your partner. Decide. And then you have to read the next page. Okay. You have to point. Who's reading first here? Okay, go ahead. Here we go. You need to point, honey, while she reads. All right, it's your turn to read to her. All right, are you ready?
Cat.
All right, good reading. Now turn to this next page on page 6 here. And what happened? It could be Pow. Would Pow work with there? Pow. Would Boo work there? Ooh, Boo. Which would Boom work there? Let's try. Boom. What do you need at the end if it's boom? You need an M. So that's not going to work, is it? What do we think? Could it be Boo or Pow? Which do you think?
Boo.
Why do you think it's Boo? Starts with a B, and we've got the ooh sound here. So look how loudly they said that. Now, turn the page. What happened when they said boo?
Major jump.
What happened when they said there was a big jump when he said boo like that, when they all said boo? Okay, go back to the beginning and read the book to yourself. All to yourself, quickly.
Major jump. Major jump. Major jump.
Read this page to me. Find your favorite page. Find your favorite page. We need to find our favorite page. And we probably need different pages. Since she already has this page, choose another page. She got that page. All right, choose a different page. If you see someone open to that page, then you need to choose a different one. Who's ready to read? Okay, read your page.
I am Major Jump.
Excellent. I am Major Jump. All right. Why don't you read next for me?
Major Jump's dog.
Okay, and it has to match what we're saying. Do it one more time.
I am Major Jump's dog.
Excellent reading. Okay, someone's already chosen that page. Could you choose another page? Can you read this page for me?
I am Major Jump's horse.
Good reading. All right. Could you read this page? Well, let's let you read this page.
Major Jump.
Boo. And I'm sorry, read this page.
Major Jump.
Excellent. All right. And where's your favorite page?
I am Major Jump's dog.
It has to match with your finger in your mouth. Let's do it one more time.
I am Major Jump's dog.
That matched, didn't it? Because when you said dog, you had your finger underneath that one. What else could Major have besides a horse and a dog and a cat? What other animal could Major Jump have if he was going to get a brand new pet? What would you give Major Jump? What would you give him? What did you say, a hen? I am Major Jump's hen. Could you write that for me? I am Major Jump's hen. You're going to give him a hen. Okay. What would you give Major Jump? What would you give Major Jump?
Horse.
He's already got a horse. Give him another animal.
Cow.
All right. I am Major Jump's cow. What animal could you give Major Jump? All right. I am Major Jump's lamb. Start with I am Major Jump's. What would you like to give Major Jump?
A frog.
Okay, a frog. That could really hop and jump around, couldn't it? Here we go. I am Major Jump's frog. What are you going to give him? A lion. All right. And what are you going to give Major Jump?
Rings.
It has to be an animal. I am Major Jump's
Bull.
bull. All right, here we go. Start right there. I am Major. Let's start over here with Major. A. I am Major Jumps. Major Jumps. Skip over for your jumps. And then write your animal for me. Major. Read what you got. Hen. All right. Would you give him anything else? I am Major Jumps. I am Major A.
Pig.
Good for you. I am Major Jump's pig. I am Major. Major Jumps. What part are you writing right now?
During this instructional lesson, students were asked semantic, syntactic, and graphophonic questions. Students in reading stages 0.5 to 3 are placed in homogeneous developmental groups to maximize instructional effectiveness in building print awareness and cueing strategies. Analysis of Group B. The trainer coach demonstrated Format 1 with a group of 6 first grade students. Observations included a familiar book, a new book, and a writing connection. Teachers were asked to highlight the lesson components they observed and to script the questions the trainer coach asked. The questions were then transferred to the cueing prompt card. The following is a summary of the teacher's observations. During the familiar book, the trainer coach asked 1 semantic question and 2 syntactic questions. 6 graphophonic questions were considered by the students. 5 were asked by the trainer, and a student suggested 1. 4 cross-checking questions were asked. In many instances, questions were paraphrased. The trainer coach gave the following feedback. When the familiar book has to be retaught the next day, the teacher needs to consider 3 possibilities. The variety of cueing questions he or she asked when the book was new, moving the student to a lower developmental stage, or increasing the student's number of processing experiences. The student needs an extra one-on-one processing experience with the same book later in the day. All students need to stabilize one-to-one correspondence or matching verbalization with pointer finger on the dominant hand during the teacher-made book phase of development. If these had been stable, only 3 graphophonic questions would have been necessary. During the new book, there were 3 semantic, 2 syntactic, 7 graphophonic, 4 cross-checking, and 2 conscious awareness questions. Again, the same pattern appeared. If we take away those referring to matching and pointing as each word was said, then a more balanced questioning would have been possible. So one refinement goal would be to ask the same number of questions in each category. The last feedback to the teacher concerned the books. The Stage 1 book was a very easy Stage 1, and the Stage 0 book was very easy because it characterized a picture predictable book. These easy books are usually used with beginning 0.5 students. There should be a gradual increase in book difficulty as one moves through the stage. Use levels 1 through 4 for students in Stage 0.5 and levels 5 through 8 for Stage 1 students. The familiar book and the new book should be similar in difficulty. Recently, many more pattern books have been made available, making gradual book progression easier to do. The teacher was interested in moving this developmental group from Stage 0 to Stage 1 books. The trainer-coach provided the following feedback. Student 4 appears to be ready to process Stage 1 books. Student 3 needs double GPR processing experiences plus review sessions in early Stage 0 books. Students 1, 2, 5, and 6 should continue to process harder Stage 0 books for several weeks before they are moved to Stage 1 books. A Stage 2 reader can read text with repetitive phrases, has the ability to follow a line of print, recognizes word entity, repeated words, and words that have similar first letters. The reference pages used in this guided process reading session are included in your Accelerating Literacy Training Manual. This lesson will include 3 steps: a familiar book, a new book, and guided writing. The lesson was planned on the appropriate format using these books. The purpose of the guided process reading and guided process writing lesson is to advance students' levels of development. For sound purposes, this instructional lesson was taped outside the regular classroom.
The title, Up in a Tree. And what was this about? Do you remember? Look at the picture.
Climbing a tree.
The boy climbed a tree, and what happened up in that tree? Do you remember? He saw things, didn't he? Okay, open up the book and look at the title page. And let's read the title again, but let's read it to yourself. You just read it. And when I ask you to read it to yourself, I want you to whisper, okay? Like this. Good whispering. All right, turn the page. Now we're going to read as partners. Do you see that there's a question here? The little boy asked a question. Do you see that part right here? Put your finger on the question mark. Do you see the question? Okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to read in partners. You read the question, and you read the second part of what he sees, okay? Would you do that for me? Okay? You read first. You read the question. Who's going to read the question here? You want to read the question? All right, and then you read this part. But point as she reads the question. Okay, who wants to read the question over here? Okay, you read the question to her, and then she's going to read the answer. Let's do that right now. Go ahead.
I got you. F-N-A.
Okay, you read. Who's going to read the question? You are. Okay, go ahead. Read it to him. You read to her.
What do
Go ahead, right here. Read this out loud to her. Uh-huh. You have to read it out loud so she can hear you. Can you point as he reads? Here we go. Read loudly, okay? Here we go. Don't whisper read now, okay? Read loudly.
Up in a tree.
You read the answer.
What do I see?
You can read the next page. Now who's going to read the question this time? You can take turns. Let's stop right here.
What do I see?
Who read the question on this page? You did? You read it again? Okay. All right. Did you read the answer? All right. Go ahead.
Up in a tree, what do I see? I see nothing.
And you read the answer? You reading the question again?
Up in a tree.
Go ahead.
What
You know this part. Finish the question. Up in a tree.
do I see.
Excellent. All right, you read the answer. Point to the words as she reads.
I see a dog, and it sees me.
All right. Finish it up.
In a tree.
All right, go ahead. Why don't you read the question this time and let him read the answer? You finished, didn't you? Okay. Did you read that out loud to him? Did you hear him read that? Okay, why don't you start right here and you read it out loud so he can hear you. I see Mom. Mom. All right, thanks for fixing that.
And she sees me.
Okay, good. Find your favorite page in here. Your favorite page. Who's reading the answer? All right, go ahead. Point to the words. Finish. Mom. How would mom in?
Mother.
That's another word, mother. That would fit better, wouldn't it? Finish reading. I see mother.
And she sees me.
All right, okay. Now, find your favorite page. Where's your favorite page? Okay, now this sentence starts on the other page, doesn't it? Could you find a different part that you like too? Could you do that for me right now? If he's going to read this part right here. Okay, read your favorite part.
Up in a tree. What do I see? I see mother, and she sees me.
Good reading. Okay, what's your favorite part? This page? You want to read the question or the answer?
I picked this page first.
Well, we can share. Okay, who wants to read the question? You want to read the question for me? You must
I
still
want to read the poetry.
read out loud, okay?
Up in the tree. What do I see?
Okay, we could say the there, couldn't we? Up in the tree, or we could say what else?
Up in a tree.
Okay, we could say a or a. Which one do you want to say? Up in, all right, read it like that.
Up in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
What do I see?
And you read this second part.
I see a dog,
Mm-hmm.
and it sees me.
Excellent, all right, that's your favorite part, huh? What's your favorite part? You like this part? You want to read the question or the answer?
Yeah.
Good, okay, right here.
I see a dog, and it sees me.
All right, thank you. Why don't you read the question on this page? Where is the little boy?
Up in a tree.
Good job, keep going. You're not finished yet with the question.
What do I see?
Now, she needs to read it by herself, doesn't she? Okay, which part did you want to read? Okay, did you want to read the question? Okay, read that part for me.
In a tree. What do I see? I see a bird, and it sees me.
All right. Here's our new book for the day. All right? So we have what in the picture? What does the
sock.
grown-up have? A sock. And she's talking to some boys and girls. Can everyone see this? Can you lean in and see this? All right. Now, what are they doing with that sock?
Tying the legs.
They're tying their legs together. Have you ever done that?
A leg race.
Maybe it is. Let's think about that for a second. Ooh, look. There seems to be some other people here with their legs tied together. What do you do when you maybe play this game? What would this be called? What do you think they're doing here?
3-legged race.
All right, it's a 3-legged race. And so, wonder who's going to win. Have you ever played this before?
Yeah.
You have?
Very.
Sort of hard to run that way, isn't it? Okay. Well, look. No one broke the ribbon, and that's what's supposed to happen when you win. I wonder what they're saying. We're going to have to find out. I'm going to give you a book now, and I want you to point to the title. Move me. Here you go. Okay, point to the title. All right, here we go. You need to read this. What does this say? Everyone point to the first one. The race. How did you know that was race? How did you know?
I heard you on the race.
Did you? Did you hear us talk about the race? All right, here we go. Let's turn to the title page. And here they are tying the three legs together. So let's read this page. But you need to point to the words when you read. All right, turn to page 2. Here we go. We're going to stay together, all right? Now, what are these children talking about? What are they saying to each other? Do you see the talking marks down here or the quote marks? See those little marks down here? Put the book down and I want you to point underneath the word. Let's point to the first word.
Word.
All right, where?
We are going to.
Okay, it could say that, couldn't it? Do you see the word are there?
Yeah.
Let's look down the line. Let's all point to the 2. Find the word 2. Does everyone find where the 2 is? Can you look down this one and find the word 2 and point to it? Where's 2? The word 2. 2. Okay, let's all read the last 2 words. To what? To win. And what are they saying to each other?
No.
No, right over here. Let's read page 2 first. We're, let's start at the first part. We're
Going to win.
okay, now can you come back over here for me and read this part?
We are going to win.
We could say we are, or we could say a short version of that. We could say what? We are, or we're. Let's say it like that, okay?
We are
Right.
going to win.
Okay, now then, read the next page to yourself and see what's going on. All right, here we go. Here we go. What did they say?
No, we're going to win.
Someone said what? No.
We're going to win.
All right, looks like an argument's going on, doesn't it? I think they're debating this. Okay, turn to this page right here, page 4, and read this to yourself. You need to whisper read it. Let me hear you whisper. What's going on? They arguing? Okay, page 6. Can you read this part? Weird. Can you say weird?
Going to win.
All right. And what did they say? What did they say? No. All right. Last page.
We are going to win.
Let's see if we can figure this out. Okay? Do you see some words you know?
Going to win.
Who wants to read that for me?
I do.
All right. 4 of you? Okay, let's all 4 read it. Point to the words down here while these 4 read it, okay? Last page. Here we go. We have to point.
We're all going to win.
Excellent. All right. You got that part very well, didn't you? Okay, now let's just suppose that you were going to do something here at school and you thought to yourself, I will win when I... What are some things you could do to win besides the 3-legged race? What are some other things that you can do at school that you might win?
Bikes.
All right. A bike race. So I could win a bike race. What else could you do?
A running race.
A running race. What else? I could win a bike race. Could you write that for me?
A skipping race.
A skipping race. That's a good idea. Now, how could you say that? I could win a running race. I could win a skipping race. I, start with I. What could you win? I could win running race. What could you win?
Could.
What do you think you could win? I could win a...
I can.
Can you think of something? Have you thought of something?
I could
What are some things you do at school out at recess? Maybe
play.
jump rope or play or the ball or something? What are you going to say? Talk out loud. You're not talking. I could win a jumping.
Race the longest.
All right. I could win a jumping contest or something like that. What could you do?
I don't know how to spell it.
Why don't you spell it with the letters that you know? Or you can use book spelling if you know that. But if you don't, just put the sounds that you hear. Think of something you could win. Maybe you could win something in the classroom like a spelling contest or a writing contest. Is there something you would like to win? You would like to win a coloring contest. Okay, let's write that. I could win a coloring contest. What about you?
A jump rope.
I could win a jump rope contest. Okay, how are we doing? I can.
Win.
What are you writing now? I could win skipping. All right, contest or what? Skipping or skip rope or what are you? How are you going to finish? Skip rope. I could win skip rope. Read what you've got.
I can do it.
Let's do this. I
Can win a bike race.
race. Or did you want to write ride? It's either way is okay.
Ride.
Okay, ride.
Ride. I can
Rides or ride?
ride.
Okay. All right. Now, what else could you win? Think of something
I
else
can win.
besides a bike ride. Now, what you need to do right now is think of something else you could win. You could do two things. Let's read what you've got so far.
I can win.
Excellent. Now, one more thing you could win. I can win what else? How are we doing right here? Read what you've got. You're not finished? Okay, you want a little more time? Read what you've got. All right. One more thing you think you could win, or you would like to win. You could say, I would like to win something if you wanted to. Read yours now. Read what you got so far.
I can win jump race.
All right. Good for you. One more thing you think you could win.
I'm not gonna do anymore. I'm gonna draw a picture.
We're not going to draw pictures on this. This is not picture drawing time. This is writing time. So one more thing maybe you'd like to win. Maybe like a bike contest or a jumping contest or something. Make a sentence for me. I could win. All right. Write that right there. Read what you've got. Read your sentence. All right. I can rent a jump rope. Can you read what you've got?
I can win a
How wonderful, a coloring contest. All right, what else would you like to win? Could you think of one more thing you could win and just write it right down there? I can win a... All right. Read your second sentence. You're doing a fine job. All right. Thank you very much. You've written 2 sentences. Read your second.
During this instructional lesson, students were asked semantic, syntactic, and graphophonic questions. Students in reading stages 0.5 to 3 are placed in homogeneous developmental groups to maximize instructional effectiveness in building print awareness and cueing strategies. Experiences in guided process reading will build strategies students need to become effective readers. Analysis of Group C. The trainer coach demonstrated Format 1 with a group of 6 first grade students. Observations included a familiar book, a new book, and a writing connection. Teachers were asked to highlight the lesson components they observed and to script the trainer coach. The questions were then transferred to the cueing prompt card. The following is a summary of the teacher's observations. As the familiar book was reread by the students,
It was necessary for the trainer-coach to ask 1 semantic, 1 syntactic, and 2 graphophonic strategy questions. In addition, 1 cross-checking strategy question was asked. As students processed the new book, the trainer-coach asked 1 semantic, 1 syntactic, and 2 graphophonic strategy questions. Also, 1 conscious awareness question was asked. The trainer-coach gave the following feedback. Students appeared to be homogeneously grouped. This made it possible to ask approximately the same number of questions in each strategy area. The trainer-coach recommended that a small whiteboard would have been helpful to show students the difference between we're and we are. With a small amount of practice, students become familiar with the lesson procedure, and requests to partner read, whisper read, and point to each word become automatic. Examination of the teacher's scripting revealed the following comprehension questions. For the familiar book, comprehension questions included, what was this about? Do you remember? The boy climbed a tree, and what happened? He saw things, didn't he? Do you see there's a question? The little boy asked a question. Scripting also revealed the following questions for the new book. What are the children talking about? What are they saying to each other? Do you see the talking marks or the quotations? What did they say to each other? During the writing component, the trainer-coach concentrated on encouraging each student to produce 2 sentences. Instead of spelling could phonemically, students decided to use the word can. Another option would have been to suggest I will as the sentence starter. At the end, each student was asked to read his or her first sentence. The trainer-coach guided students to consider any uppercase letters that should be changed to lowercase and to change any reversals that might appear in their first sentence. In addition, each student was then asked to make 1 additional change on their first sentence. Student 1 changed the U to O. The trainer-coach guided student 2 to drop the ing on winning. Student 3 also dropped the ing on winning. Student 4 was asked to consider the ending phoneme in race. Student 5 was guided to drop the A, and Student 6 was guided to change the E and skip to I. Experiences in guided process reading will build strategies students need to become effective readers.